Hi guys. So I made a video about 7-8 months ago, I believe it was 7-8 months ago or so, opening up my story about sexual abuse and how numb it had made me feel, how worthless it made me feel, how shameful it made me feel, and how I wasn't giving myself the love that I deserved. And since then, it's been fairly eye-opening, and it's been very healing having shared that, because I got a rush of a community of women and men opening up their stories and their hearts, and making me feel really supported in this, and me feeling like I could support other people in this who've gone through something similar. So I kind of just wanted to open up the floor again for another major chapter in my life. Something that I feel like kind of a lot of people go through, but a lot of people don't talk about. And that's just kind of what I do. I like talking about the hard stuff and the raw stuff, because I feel like everybody goes through all that, and I think everyone wants to feel better and wants to heal from whatever they're going through, and I think the only way for us to really do that is to actually address it. And I just wanted to address something else that I feel like I've been successful in reevaluating as a part of my life, and that is pretty much substance abuse, and how I, at some point in my life, was relying on a lot of cocaine to enjoy life. And I didn't realize how much I wasn't loving myself by doing that until I made that video. Because I had already been getting clean before then, and I had already been like, I guess in a sense, detoxing it out of my life and whatnot, and really putting it at a distance for myself already. And since that video, I just really feel like I just made like even more of a push to just really keep it as far out of my life as possible. And I understand some people, they'll do something one weekend and they won't think about it for months on end, and I still know people who party every single weekend and whatnot. And I mean, everyone is different, everybody does it for their own reasons. Some people don't necessarily use it to numb, they just use it as a let's party one weekend, and then they'll forget about it for like a year or so or whatever. But no, for me it was basically in my teens, I experimented. I mean, like a lot of us, we experimented. I did ecstasy, I did mushrooms, I did acid, I did a bunch of things. And, you know, I never really thought of it as a lifestyle. It was never a lifestyle. And then, again, with the whole, going back to that video of me kind of just numbing myself through boys and just letting them do what they want, and really depending on them to fulfill the love that I wasn't giving myself. I think that combination, and then the combination of me being open to it, to cocaine. I'm gonna say the word. It's gonna feels like a knife, pretty much. Me being open to that led to the direction that my life had gone to at some point. That combination, basically, in a nutshell, I fell madly in love with somebody, changed my whole life for this person. This substance was more a lifestyle for this person than it was for me. And naturally, when you're with somebody, you want to do what they're doing because you want to feel like you're a part of their lives. And at that point, I understand the separation of he does his thing, I do my thing. in work and play. It could be something different, but a common goal together is our morals and our goals and stuff like that. I didn't understand that that was the basis of a relationship. I was young. I thought that what made a relationship, honestly, was your common interest in how you like to have fun. And that's what I based it on. And it doesn't mean that I didn't love him for how he was. We basically broke up and I was still in love with him. And I still have love for him. But the love wasn't enough because everything else just kind of took over. So basically, it was more of a lifestyle for him, and when we started doing it more and more, and then eventually it got to the point where years down the line, after our relationship started kind of falling apart, years down the line, it started to become my almost daily routine, daily habit. It got to a point where one day I literally said out loud to him, I need this to get through my day. And that was kind of really shocking to me to even say that to myself. I never think I would say something like that. And by that point, we could barely make a $900 rent together. We're capable adults. Like, we were on food stamps. We could barely make a $900 rent. Why? Because we were partying every weekend, every other night. Because the people we socialized with, not saying that they're bad, but more or less, like, it wasn't helpful being around the environment that was not harming, but it was just basically, it's hard to take an alcoholic to a bar and not expect him to not get anxiety and want to, like, not want to drink. Like, that is some, like, deep self-control kind of thing. And I didn't have that at that time because I basically wasn't getting the love that I felt like I wanted out of him, and I wasn't giving myself the love that I could give myself. So I was relying on this substance to give me what I felt, this rush of life, I guess, is what I was relying on for the substance. And after our breakup, it was one of the hardest breakups I had to deal with ever, because I was still in love with him. I was still in love with the idea of what we could have been. And it took me a while to realize that I was in love with an idea and that I had in my head, but it just wasn't going to be for the relationship. And I mean, it's fine. It's just part of it. And but basically after the relationship, I really realized that I had given literally my soul and everything to this habit. This habit just broke down us. It broke down me. It numbed me. It made me not just a human being. I wasn't a good daughter. I wasn't a good employee. I wasn't like a good anything for a long time. I wasn't a good pug mama to my Lucy. Like, it was very shameful, and it was very I just felt like I had to apologize to a lot of people afterwards, and to myself for allowing it to get to that point. And I think I'm just really grateful that I did go through all that, because it did make me the person I am today, which is a lot stronger and a lot healthier, and I can have empathy for anybody who has gone through this, and I can really feel like I'm with you on this if you're going through this journey too, of like healing and being more clean, I guess, pretty much. Because I mean, I still smoke weed. Like, also do shrooms, but I don't depend on it anymore. You know, I don't depend on that fulfilling me, because after the relationship, I pretty much took a detox on a lot of life. I took a detox on I mean, the breakup, fuck it, whatever. I numbed myself for a minute, for several months. I was still partying. I was still, because I didn't know any better. It was a lifestyle I was used to. I was used to. It was a habit I was used to doing. I had to break my habit, and then through doing that, that led up to that video that I made, the self-love video, my Don't Be a Victim video. Pretty much I decided to just stop hanging out where I hung out all the time. I decided to just quit drinking for a good minute, just so I could reintroduce it, because it got to a point where if I felt like I was going to go out to drinks, well, can I afford this stuff too? Well, then if I can afford this stuff too, can I afford the weed that I need the next day to feel better, and then the snacks that I need the next day to feel better? And it was just kind of like this cycle, and I think anybody who's gone through this kind of knows. But for the most part, I had to really just kind of clean myself of everything to kind of reintroduce it all in a healthy way, and just kind of reevaluate like what is important in my life. And since doing that, it kind of opened up my eyes to like, you know what, I have bigger goals in mind. I have my art, I have the styling. I love to do vintage hair and makeup and styling that I love to do. I realized that, you know, I did hold myself back for a lot of years by doing all of that. And I mean, I had to do it to get to the point that I am now. I had to do it, get to my lowest, my rock bottom, so I can really build myself up strongly. And yeah, it basically led up to that video, and that video that I made straight up was like the kick that I needed to like really push it in self-love and self-loving myself. Because even during that time of that video, I was still dabbling in it. It wasn't a lifestyle, but I was still dabbling. And since that video, I've 7, 8 months. I think in the past 8 months I've only done it like once probably, which, yeah, I think I haven't I'm trying to like really think, because I mean, like when you have to really think about it, it's just like, it's surprising. But for the most part, since that video, I just really realized what's important to me. And part of my self-love journey has been realizing that that isn't loving myself, that I don't need that in my life to fulfill my weekend. I don't need that in my life to feel like I'm part of the party, or like I'm having a sudden rush of energy, or like, not energy, but just like a sudden rush of like fulfillment in myself. And it's definitely, you know, it's definitely hard when, like, I was reminded actually today, somebody was just like, oh, I remember you back a few years ago. I'm just like, oh yeah. And they're like, we started talking about, like, you know, I was telling him I got cleaner, and he's like, well, I kind of liked you when you were like that. And I'm just like, well, you didn't realize how actually sad I was, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, what, how, this person kept trying to push me to be like, well, yeah, I kind of miss this lifestyle, when really it's like, I don't miss this lifestyle at all, just because I have so much more fulfilling my life right now. I have my art, I have life to feel finally. And I still see my friends struggle with it. Not struggle, but I don't even think they realize that they're struggling with it, that they can realize that there is more to life than just that bag every weekend. And I want my friends and family to know that they don't have to worry about me, that I'm okay. I've picked myself up pretty well, I feel, and I'm still striving for better and to better myself. But I guess for me, making this video was just to open up this chapter in my life, and really get you guys to realize that we all, even I, have gone through some intense shit. And we're in this together, and we're in this journey of healing and making ourselves better. And why would I want to be the same person I was years ago? Why do you want to be the same person you are years ago? Why don't you want to grow and be better and just be an even, I don't know, just more badass version of yourself? And it doesn't have to be you sloshed up with just wound up at the end of like that. Doesn't have to be a better version of you. Like, better version of you could be you kicking ass in your career, you kicking ass and buying your house, and you kicking ass and creating a new piece of art or something. But I just want to just to wrap this up pretty much, because I've been going on and on, that my journey has been about self-healing and self-fulfillment and self-love. And I think this part of me letting go of the idea of that I need this substance to feel something, or I've allowed this substance to take over what I felt was like a fulfilling life, that's part of my healing process and part of my self-love and self-fulfillment. And I just want to be here for anybody who's going through the same things and want something else in their lives, because it is a weekend to weekend. I'm stronger now, but it is a thing where it's like I want to go out one weekend, but in the back of my mind I'm like, well, how will a few drinks make me feel after it? And what if the one person I would rely on to get me my stuff is around? How would I feel then? It's like, it's a constant anxiety, and I understand for whoever is going through it. I just wanted to say that you're not alone, and there are people out there who understand and are here for you on your journey. And you can stay at home on a Friday night and enjoy yourself a nice bowl of popcorn. And I still have my glass of wine. Now I started keeping alcohol at home, but now I have my glass of wine and my popcorn, and that is so much better to me now, because I have things to look forward to the next day. And I feel like as long as we always have something to look forward to the next day, we'll always have a reason to make sure we're present. And yeah, that's just kind of the part of this realization, is that have something to look forward to, which is yourself. I love you guys.